Good morning, DSST. It is so bittersweet to be doing this final morning meeting from the 1920 school year, especially considering that we're not all together still. It has been a true whirlwind, and as I reflect back on the past school year, I know for many of us, a lot of that time together has probably been overtaken in our minds by the last 2.5 months. I know for me it has. I feel like March through now has really dominated how I've been feeling about the school year and how I've been feeling about our community's accomplishments. And so one of the things that I have been challenging myself to do is to think more holistically about the year. And here are a couple things that I really wanted to think about as I thought about August through May together and not just March through May together. Some of the things that most stick out to me have been our community's incredible insistence and courage to do better each and every day. That has been from every single one of our staff members to every single one of our students in figuring out how we were going to change to be better than we were last year, than we were the day before, than we were the week before, than we were the class before. And that courage and commitment has been truly motivating for me this school year. Some of the highlights were welcoming our class of 2026, our current sixth graders who we have come to love so dearly and get to know and welcome into our Pride community. Some of my favorite highlights from the whole school year have been our trips to Skate City and to the zoo. I know many of you mentioned those as the highlights of your year. One of my personal favorite highlights was right before winter break when I surprised the most on top of it Lit Lab room for an ice cream treat right before we released to winter break and celebrating that with our community. I've loved the work our student council has done. I think you'll be very excited to hear about some of the uniform changes that we have made for next year. I won't reveal too many of those right now. That's exciting news coming to you in August, but their advocacy and leadership has really led to meaningful changes in our community that I think they should be proud of and that our community will be very excited for. Thought about our year-over-year growth on both of the IAs that we took together. Thought about our total dominance in winter maps growing more than any other DSST school, which means that every single teacher and every single student in our school contributed to us showing the most growth in each and every subject area, and that has just really been tremendous. I'm so proud. And then lastly, when I think back on our time in the midst of this pandemic, I have been absolutely floored at our demonstration of our core values and specifically our demonstration of responsibility, doing your best, and courage. We have had the responsibility to take school just as seriously in the midst of the pandemic, and some students have even risen to the challenge in new ways that have allowed them to do even better work in the midst of our virtual school than they were doing in our classrooms in person. Students have worked through technological issues, navigating new platforms, figuring out how to connect with their teachers one-on-one. Students have shown the courage to show up to mindfulness classes, to make sure that they're able to take care of themselves, to do their best to still host art club and Dungeons and Dragons club, even though we're not together. And that sort of courage and tenacity has me reflecting on how much I know that our current community of students is going to lead the way in the 21st century as leaders in the next generation, using what they've learned at school about our values and their own values and the academic preparation that they've had to be on the path to college and then be on to even bigger, greater, and better things. I'm so proud to have shared this school year with you, and I just couldn't be more thankful for our community. On a final note, I do want to address the swirlings around the start of the school year next year. There is a lot that is unknown, and it's as scary for me to have it be unknown as it likely is for every member of our community. And unfortunately, there are not answers that I can provide for what fall of 2021 will look like. But I know some very key things to be certain about our community of staff and students. The first is that we never give up. In the face of challenge, we will rise to the occasion, whatever the occasion presents. And the second is that we deeply value our relationships with each other. And so whatever space we're in the start of the school year, we will absolutely be emphasizing our relationships together to navigate changes and new things that may come our way. And lastly, I know that as a community, we are still committed to our path to college. Our academic courses, our extracurriculars are fundamental to that path to college. And so while we may have to do those in unique and new ways, we will not be going back on our commitment to make sure that every student in our community is prepared for college and high school and the 21st century. That's my commitment to you, and I know that that's our commitment to each other. So I bid you a bittersweet farewell. I wish we were together so that we could hug and talk and celebrate the entry into summer. But please know we will be thinking about you, we will be celebrating you, and we cannot wait to see you in August.